Hey everybody, this is Eric Schweitzer from thegamer.com editorial team, and today we're taking a look at some gameplay footage from Horizon Call of the Mountain on the PSVR 2. First thing I want to talk about is the PSVR 2 itself. It's actually a pretty impressive headset. It's super comfortable, it's well balanced, it feels like you can wear it for a long time, certainly a lot longer than I'd like to wear the Quest 2. And the visuals are really impressive too. Each eye gets its own dedicated 2K display, which makes everything look really crisp and sharp. It cuts down on that screen Dorian effect that other headsets have. So in terms of the hardware, I'm really impressed with the PSVR 2. It really feels like a next-gen sort of VR headset. The problem is that all of the games available for it are also available on other platforms, except for, of course, Horizon Call of the Mountain. So what you're seeing here obviously isn't core gameplay. Breaking plates and pottery is just sort of a gimmicky thing you can do. And Horizon Call of the Mountain has a lot of stuff like that. You can play maracas, you can paint on cave walls, and all of that interactive stuff has a very tech demo-y quality to it. It reminds me a lot of the Batman Arkham VR game on the first PSVR, just kind of there to show off what the technology can do and be a bit of a diversion. The actual core gameplay of Horizon Call of the Mountain is climbing, which you're seeing a little bit of right now. I would say maybe 70% of the game is about climbing. The story takes place on one mountain, as you might have guessed, and you spend most of the game ascending that mountain and fighting robots on your way up. And the climbing sections, for the most part, are pretty good. It doesn't have that level of strategy that the climb has. You don't have to chalk your hands or worry about stamina. But what makes it unique is you're incorporating a lot of gadgets into your climb. You have ropes that you'll slide down and grappling hooks that you'll need to throw to reach distant points. One of the cooler tools that you just saw was those climbing axes that you carry on you and you use when you're climbing up sheer surfaces. You're seeing here is this rope dart that you have to put the pieces together yourself. And it's not a very common mechanic in the game. You don't do it all the time, but every time you get a chance to do it, it's always pretty well done. You do get to assemble your arrows from the parts that you pick up, which I think is a nice touch. Overall, Call of the Mountain does a pretty good job keeping things fresh with the climbing, giving you new tools to use and new ways to interact with the world. And that's a good thing because that's most of the game. The main problem I have with it is the combat encounters. The combat encounters and the climbing are two very separate parts of the game. Either you're climbing or you're fighting. And while the climbing is kind of fun, it does get a bit old, the fighting doesn't really live up to its potential. So here we're taking a look at a battle against a big Thunderjaw, and as you can see, it has a lot of Horizon flavor. You have your different kinds of arrows. You're trying to target different weak points on the machine to disable its weapons or to take it down quicker, and it does capture the essence of Horizon well in that sense. Unfortunately, you can also see that you're just kind of standing in place and shooting at it and then occasionally dodging left and right. Not every fight takes place in the same arena, but they all have this same sort of stagnant quality to them. This is something I'm afraid that's just a bit inherent to VR today because your feet don't move. It's tracking your hands in your head, but it's not like you can run around your house while you're playing. So anytime you have to move your feet, there's always going to be a bit of a disconnect there. And I don't feel like Horizon Call of the Mountain really accounted for that. It's nice to physically pull back the string and shoot arrows from your bow, but then when you have to press all these different buttons and tilt the stick to move around and dodge attacks, it's a weird mix of traditional games and VR that doesn't quite work. I will say that I do like the elements that incorporate the environment into the fights. As you're going to see here in a second, you can ascend these towers and use these ballistas, and they have a different type of interaction where you have to like load the arrows and pull the levers and aim the thing. And that all feels great. It's just a bit underutilized, and honestly, I would have liked to see the climbing incorporate with the combat more, because that's where Call of the Mountain really shines. I think this is a really nice looking game, and if you're a big fan of Horizon, it's a pretty easy sell. Unfortunately, it's the big launch title on a $550 add-on for the $500 PlayStation 5. So it had to be especially good, in my opinion, and it really isn't. I know in some ways it's unfair to critique this game based on the entire PSVR 2 library, but when the new headset comes out and this is the only headlining big budget game, then there's an exceedingly high expectation on it to be the system seller, and this game is not it. I think it's neat, I think it has some cool ideas, but this isn't PlayStation's Half-Life Alyx, if that's what you were hoping for. And I don't think it justifies the $550 price tag for the PSVR 2, at least not yet. That being said, if you're not already a VR player and you have a PS5, the PSVR 2 has a really great library. Jurassic World Aftermath is an awesome stealth game. Demio is a great multiplayer tabletop experience. Zenith is a full-blown first-person MMO that's really cool in VR. So if you want to get into VR and you have a PS5, I think the PSVR 2 has a lot of value. If you're just buying the PSVR 2 for this game, I think you might be disappointed. If watching this fight against this Thunderjaw that's been going on for almost 5 minutes doesn't impress you, you're probably not going to be impressed by the rest of Call of the Mountain either. The Gamer's editor-in-chief Stacy Henley wrote the written version of this review. You can find that linked down in the description if you want to read more about the game. Thank you so much for watching the video version of our Horizon Call of the Mountain review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and visit us at thegamer.com. That's The Gamer, no space.